Okay, here again we had Pleasant Lanes for the second set of matches today. Unfortunately, because in this house you only have 24 lanes, you have to split up the matches. Here we have today, this afternoon, match has Hills Have Eyes versus Showtime. So here we're going to be concentrating more on the scratch pair. Mr. Jimmy Johnson is leading off for Hills Have Eyes. They currently are second place in the South PA South Division, and he starts off leaving at 9. Oh, he throws out a strike. Sometimes you have to have a messenger. Here we have, he throws a, unfortunately, Don Suswell Jr., he has a Don Suswell Jr. threw the mother-in-law 8 count. So you have Showtime versus Hills Have Eyes. This is an important matchup for both teams because it's important that Showtime is trying to make the playoffs, and right now, if the season ended today, Hills Have Eyes would be in the playoffs today. So now it's important that they continue to start off real good and have a good matchup. And last but not least, we have Mr. anchoring the scratch pair for Hills Have Eyes, Mr. Guy Poor, or Mr. Wayne Poor Jr. He has averages 246. He throws strikes. So Hills Have Eyes come to bowl this match, and they start off with 3 strikes in a row. Eric Bell for Showtime actually starts off with an 8 count as well. So it's going to be very important that with how you start in the match against Hills Have Eyes, it's going to be very important for them to come out with Showtime to come out with a strong beginning to give their team confidence as a whole to win this match against Showtime, against Hills Have Eyes. And the anchor man for Showtime here is Mr. Devin Hudson. His average is 234. So today it looks like Showtime has come with the young guns in this match. It's going to be very interesting to see how the future of Showtime will perform today. Mr. Devin Hudson throws the ball, and he comes out with a strike. Mr. Devin Hudson on his league time has had an outstanding opportunity this year in bowling. Now it's going to be very important to see if he can continue on what he needs to do.
635.
Okay, starting in the second frame, Mr. Don Suswell Jr. He averages 240, but in this house, once again, Pleasant Hill is a house where the lanes hook like crazy. So Mr. Don Suswell Jr. gets a strike there on the second ball. He's a very consistent, very strong bowler, and he's young. So Showtime has a great future going forward for bowlers. Mr. Jimmy Johnson, see if he can answer this with the strike here. Now, some of these guys have an advantage because they all bowl here at Pleasant Hill. That would be Mr. I'm not going to call out names, but they do have at least 6 bowlers that average over 230 that bowl in this house. All right, Mr. Anthony Richfield throws the second ball. He threw a strike in the first frame, throws another strike. At this house, you definitely got to keep your speed up in the first ball, and then you have to continue on from there. It's very important that people come to bowl and be able to answer the call when called upon to bowl. Let's see what Mr. Devin Hudson does for his second ball. And this is a great head-to-head matchup between Guy Poor and Devin Hudson. They both are extremely strong bowlers, and unfortunately, Devin throws a split in his second frame. He threw that ball a little bit too strong. It went all the way out, and then it came back, but it went deep into the pocket. Guy Poor throws a strike in second ball, so the first 2 frames, Hills Have Eyes has nothing but strikes on the scratch pair. And Devin Hudson gets the 2 pins, so that's good. He got as many pins as he possibly can. Unfortunately, he had a split, so he got to make sure he doesn't throw the ball too hard, because if you throw it past 5, it will go deep into the pocket, and you won't be able to recover. The ball will go deep into the pocket, could possibly leave a split. which is the worst case scenario. Then you have to try to pick it up after that. So it's going to be interesting to see what Showtime does. Son Seswell Jr. throws another ball, leaves an 8 count. Well, right now, Showtime looks like they're pretty much fishing. They were throwing strikes in the practice, but in practice, then you got to perform after you get out there. The question is now for Showtime is, can they slow it down, get their druthers about them, communicate with each other in terms of what they may be doing wrong, and get back to where at least match the energy that Hills Have Eyes is doing. John Susswell throws a spare, picks up the spare. So at least he has a clean game. Spares help you win game, but help you keep you in the game when the other team is throwing strikes. They cannot afford to miss a 10-pin or anything at this point in time. Anthony Richfield throws a strike. He doesn't get a split, so that's good enough. He can easily pick up that spare. I believe Anthony Richfield does bowl here, if I'm not mistaken. Eric Bell throws a strike right there. He came back with a messenger to get the extra pin there, but he knocked it down. So Showtime is trying to stay in the game. Sometimes not how you start, but how you finish. Let's see if Anthony Richfield can pick up his spare there. You got 3 count on the right side. It shouldn't be a problem, but you never know. All right, he picked up the spare. So now let's see what Mr. Guy Port, Mr. Automatic Strike Man. This is not by far over at all. Looks like Showtime has a very good lineup out today. Hopefully they can close the deal and win the match. They are considered the underdogs, but that doesn't mean that they can't do what they have to do. Looks like here Showtime ball is Derek Udson's ball is going deep into the pocket. So it looks like Showtime and Guy Port throws another strike. So he's putting the pressure on Devin Hudson. But at this point, he can actually do what he has to do in order to win the match. See if Devin Hudson picks up this 10-pin. And he does, so he's back. It looks like his mental is straight. He just has to throw strikes at this point. Right now, Showtime on the scratch pair down by 39 in the first frame. Going into the 4th frame. But anything can happen. They only had 1 open. It was a split by the anchorman, Devin Hudson. But at the same time, they can get the job done. They have a very strong team out there. And Mr. Don Susswell Jr. actually threw a strike there. He went Jersey, but at least he got a strike. So right now, it's not how you start, but how you finish. You have to be able to finish the shot. Okay, let's see if Mr. Eric Bell can build on this double here. If he throw a triple, he can help Showtime pull himself back up little bit by little bit. They need their anchor man back in the match, but it always helps when you have a setup man to actually throw strikes for you ahead of you. Mr. Anthony Richfield just threw another strike. He's back on track. This is going to be a very interesting match because Showtime needs to stop the bleeding early. They need to try to match the effort that Hills Have Eyes is doing right now with the strike game. They actually are pretty good. Showtime is good enough to stay in this match. They can actually win the match if they actually bear down and start throwing strikes here. But they definitely have what it takes to win the match. So you cannot not look at how good Showtime is. Their abilities are very deceiving, and they have a very good ability in terms of throwing strikes. Now, Guy Port leaves a 3 count. On lane 13, the question now is, can Devin begin to throw strikes? He began to throw strikes. This is going to be a very close matchup as we go down to the 9th and 10th frame. Let's see what Devin can do. Let's see if he throws a strike here. Ooh. He might have to switch out of this ball because it seems like his bowling ball is going long into the pocket. If it does, he has to make sure that he's able to make that adjustment. He has to put either more hand in the ball or he has to get a stronger ball. It looks like his bowling balls are going longer into the pocket, which is leaving these crazy splits for him. Devin Hudson is a very, very, very good bowler. Looks like it's doing that on lane 14. Looks like he's throwing good strikes on 13, but for some reason his ball is going long on 14. Okay, coming up into the fifth frame, we have Don Suswell Jr. Jimmy Johnson has 4 in a row. Don Suswell doesn't have any open, but he has 2 spares. So this is the lane that he's been throwing the spares on. Let's see if he can throw a strike here. He went Jersey and throw a strike. He covers his face, I understand. But, hey, 10 is 10. Let's see if Jimmy Johnson can lead his team and go out by 60 with the strike here, if he throws a strike here. And he doesn't. He actually sets it up for a split. Now, that's not even though he has 5 there, it's not a shot that he's not capable with his level of talent that he can't pick that up. Eric Bell's going up to throw a ball before Jimmy Johnson. Let's see what he does here. Eric Bell throws the ball. Still can't. It's like his ball is not getting into the pocket like he needs to. He needs to come down and into the pocket. So let's see what he does from here. He has to pick this up. Even though it's a 7 board, let's see if Jimmy Johnson picks this up. He didn't pick it up. He got it out wide a little bit to the right. So Jimmy Johnson has an open in the 5th frame, and he has accumulated score of 109. So he's not running away from Don Suswell Jr. in terms of head-to-head matchup. The question is, can these 2 guys, 2 heavyweights, I'm going to call them at this point with their averages, who's going to win? How you start is how you finish. You want to be how you want to start well and finish well. So it's important for each bowler to lead their team accordingly. At this point, Hills have eyes with their set with, let's see if Anthony Richfield bowls. See he comes up with. Anthony Richfield is a very strong bowler. He's an 8 count. If he pick up the 2, they'll be up by 49 in the going with the 2 anchor bowlers going in. So Showtime, we want to see Devin Hudson throw a strike here. He has to get on point here. If he throws a strike here, he's still struggling. He may need to go to a stronger piece in his hand, so you never know how it goes. And Richfield picks up the spare at this point just to get himself going again. Sometimes you got to start off with a spare. So if he do that, he can actually get started and get bowling pretty good. Guy pours up. Let's see if he can throw a strike, get back on the strike game. And he does. Guy pours an outstanding bowler. His team is up by 61 after five frames. Let's see if Jimmy Johnson can get back on the strike game after throwing a split in the 5th frame. You do not want to give Don Suswell Jr. an opportunity to destroy you after you make a mistake. Looks like James Johnson does get back on the strike game. Now, at this point, so that Showtime can pull himself back into the match, Don Suswell Jr. has to throw a strike here. But currently, without him throwing the ball, they're down by, he throws a 9 count. It's like his ball is entering the pocket. It's very good ball, smooth, but you got to throw strikes here today against Hills Have Eyes. They're not in second place for no reason. They're a very strong bowler. They are aware that usual suspects lost 22-18 today. So if they win today against Showtime, they can actually take over first place. They've been in first place for the majority of the season. Now it's important for them to handle their business against Showtime, which can give them an opportunity to take over first place as we charge towards the end of the season to see who's going to the playoff and what position you are in. Guy Poor throws his ball, and he throws a strike. Guy Poor is a striking machine. Now, I will say that Hills Have Eyes is a very strong team working together and going down the pike. That's what's going to help a team move to the playoffs and move through the playoffs if they continue to bowl together as a team. Let's see what Eric Bell can do. He's been throwing very strong. He's been around the hairpin, but his ball hasn't finished. Now he throws a strike. He gets the ball out a little bit more to his right, so it gives his ball an opportunity to recover and come back to the pocket. So if Eric Bell he's averaging 230 for a reason. The young fella can bowl. He just has to be confident and be aware of what's going on with the lane conditions, no matter what house you may be in. Okay, now they're just waiting for Mr. Devin Hudson to throw the ball. He'll take that if he throws a strike, he'll take the pin count from Showtime being down by 62 down to 52. He only has one strike in this whole game thus far. Let's see what he does. And he throws a strike. He looked like he threw that with confidence. Now he just has to build on that. Okay. Showtime currently is down by 42. Not 52, 42. They just have to continue to build on it. Don Cecil throws a straw and throws a strike. All right. He's leading his team thus far. He just have to keep doing it over and over, shoot same shot over and over again. Nothing is a guaranteed in these houses. Jimmy Johnson come back with a double. Jimmy Johnson seems like he's locked in his house. I was told that he does bowl league in this house, so he ought to bowl very good today. Question is, can he do it for all three games? Eric Bell throws his ball. Let's see if he can double here. All right. Wasn't the best shot, but at least he got a double. Looks like Showtime is starting to find themselves. The question is, if they continue to find themselves, you give yourself a chance to win come the 9th and 10th frame. You just have to be on the road. You have to have 3 and 4 strikes in a row. Now, Anthony Richfield throws a 9 count, which gives him he has an easy spare to pick up. But he's going against Eric Bell, who can actually provide through a three-bagger. And that gives his team an opportunity to get back incrementally, bit by bit, into the match. What Showtime needs to do now, they need to keep encouraging each other and keep they're up against a very strong lineup. So it's not like they can't win the match. They just have to do what they're supposed to do. Let's see if Devin Hudson can double up here. And Devin Hudson looks like he's locked in. He has a double. The question is, can he strike on his way out? Give Hills Have Eyes something to think about. Now, Guy Poor is a monster on the lanes. He can throw a triple here. They'll be up by 52 sticks, so anything can happen. And he does. So Guy Poor is doing what he was brought in to do. He's a hell of a bowler. I don't know how he was not there at Usual Suspect, how they let this man get away. But Guy Poor is a beast. Okay, Jimmy Johnson is going into the 8th frame. He has 2-bagger. Let's see if he can make a turkey here. Went far out, but he managed to let that ball came back quickly, and he picked up his strike there. So now Jimmy Johnson, is, except for the fifth frame, really should be on the 300 game right now. Let's see what Don Seswell, can he answer the call here? Okay, he does. Don Seswell answers the phone. He has a double going into the ninth frame, so it looks like Don Seswell is actually bowling the way that he knows how to bowl. And the young guns on Showtime Scratch Pair are actually getting the job done here. They're actually closing that gap. They may have started a little rough, but they're able to recover. And now it's going to be interesting going down to the ninth and 10th frame. Let's see what Anthony Richfield can do, if he can throw a strike here. And he does. These guys bowl here, so they have an inclination of how to bowl in this house. The question is, can they continue to do what they have to do? E-Rock, unfortunately, left the 8-pin. He threw a good ball. It was good enough to knock it down, but he may have threw it too hard. Sometimes when that happens, it can mess with your head, but E-Rock is a very accomplished bowler. He's a very strong young fella on his way up. He has a great future ahead in bowling. E-Rock picks up the ball. Let's see what Guy Poor does. See if he answers the call. And he just throws another strike. So between Jimmy Johnson and Guy Poor, they're keeping their team. They're actually keeping their lead against Showtime, who's actually found their abilities and actually are throwing. Let's see if Devin Hudson can throw a strike here too. He still keep it down in the 50s, 50-pin lead at the moment, but anything can happen going into these last two frames. Once again, the top and the last bowler for both teams, Don Seswell Jr. and Devin Hudson, are back on their strike game. They're going to need all three with a stellar effort in order to beat Hills Have Eyes here at the house that they bowl league at. Devin Hudson throws the ball, and he throws another strike. Devin Hudson has found his stride. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like here, Showtime is only down by 53 on the scratch pair. But the question now is, can they finish out? Can they throw strikes? They have to throw the next 4 strikes for each man for Devin Hudson and Don Seswell Jr., and they need Eric Bell to throw strikes 3 in a row. You just want to make the game respectable. Left the 10-pin for Don Seswell Jr. in the 9th frame. That's not a killer, but you want to have momentum, especially since Jimmy Johnson is throwing strikes too. In this match, you want to make sure, especially on the scratch pair, you want to at least match the man that you're going up against. Let's see what Jimmy Johnson does. And he throws another strike. So at this point, anything can happen. Jimmy Johnson's throwing a great game at this point in time, even with the split that he had in the 5th frame. This is just outstanding in terms of talent. Let's see if Don Seswell Jr. pick up the spare. He picks it up with no problem. At this point, I believe that Hills Have High understand that they can take over the first place in the division if they have an outstanding match today. So let's see what happens here. Right now you have Anthony Richfield going up to throw a strike off of 1 strike already. He doubles up. So at this point, you just want to beat the man that's next to you. You accept responsibility for what you have or have not done, and then you go from there. These teams have a great matchup. They're bowling extremely well, and this is what bowling is about. When you come to bowl, you want to make sure that you match the energy that your opponent is bringing. Let's see if Eric Bell can throw a strike here. All right, E-Rock throws a strike in the 9th frame. Unfortunately, it's not how you start, but how you finish. And Guy Poor throws another strike. He throws 5 in a row after starting out the match with 3 in a row. So this is not a match that can't be won by Showtime. They just have to lock in early and match the energy and the focus that Hills Have Eyes has done on the scratch pair. Let's see what Devin Hudson does. He understands the assignment. He's a very strong bowler. He's been bowling very good all season and league, and when he subs, and at tournaments. So he's not new to this type of pressure. And he leaves a 7 count. Leaves 3 pins. He can still do it. He just didn't come through on that shot. This first game is not indicative of what type of talent that this young man has. But as the match goes on, it's going to be interesting to see if Showtime can finish and close the gap in this first game so that their scratch pair is not be too far behind where they can't take over the lead or assume the lead as the match goes on. Because the transition comes in the game, in each game, and then you have to be able to either stay ahead of it or you have to be able to make the proper adjustments. You have to see the adjustments as well. All right, Don Suswell starts it off for the 10th frame. Let's see if he can start off with a strike here. He rushed to the line. Sometime when you rush to the line, it brings your hand across your body, and that's what happened. Don Suswell Jr. got to the line a little fast, and his arm came across his body. So he got an 8 count. Let's see what Jimmy Johnson does. See if watch how Jimmy Johnson goes to the line. He's not going too fast. He slows himself down. He sees the shot, and he throws a strike. Sometimes it's not how fast you get to the line. That's why you work out. You do squats. You do all kind of exercises to make sure that you maintain your balance and that your power comes from your hip the more you get down on the lanes. As you approach the line, I'm sorry. Let's see if Jimmy Johnson's up for his second ball. Let's see if he can throw a strike and widen the lead for Hills Have Eyes. Okay, Hills Have Eyes. Jimmy Johnson with another strike. He has 6 in a row. He can go out with 7 in a row. This is where bowling at a tough house like it is, as well as being able to finish. This is where experience comes into play. Don Suswell throws a 9 count for his last ball. So Don Suswell Jr. goes out with a 215, which is a respectable score, but when you average 240, you got to be able to get close to your average a little bit more. He started off real strong, consistent, but now he didn't finish the shot. Jimmy Johnson didn't throw a great ball the last ball. Sometimes you got to keep that killer mindset in bowling so that you can finish out strong, because you want to have no question in the other team's mind who's winning. Now the unique thing here is that Eric Bell has an opportunity to get a double, which he does. Anthony Richfield can get a triple, so that'll put them 10 pins more ahead of Showtime on this pair. And Anthony Richfield does do that. Sometimes you have to answer the phone when it's ringing, and Anthony Richfield just did that. So now both teams can get a 20 in the second frame, but Anthony Richfield, by throwing his first ball, gave his team 30. Hills Have Eyes is about 95 sticks above Showtime in this matchup. It's only because Showtime was not able to get focus in the first couple of frames, but it looks like Showtime has found what they want to do. They're bowling very well. The question becomes at this point, how do you finish the game? Anthony Richfield throws another ball. He almost had a 7-10 split, but the 10 pin goes down. Now he can go out with a 226 if he managed to pick up an easy spare. Eric Bell goes out with a 225. Anthony Richfield pick up the spare, so he beats Eric Bell head-to-head, 226 to 225. At this point, Guy Poor is putting in some real work here, and Devin Hudson can turn around. All he has to do is get focused, throw his ball, throw like he normally does. And this young man, you might see between night and day between the first and second game. So let's see what happens. Devin Hudson throws the ball, and he gets a strike. That's the Devin Hudson we're used to seeing. This young fella is very special bowler, very special bowler. Guy Poor throws another strike. At this point, it's going to be just a matter of can you stop the bleeding? Can you do what you have to do in order to win the match? Hills Have Eyes is not how you start, but how you finish. Right now, going into the second ball for each bowler, Showtime is down by 106 sticks. It's not insurmountable to come back, but against Hills Have Eyes, a team that bowls at this house, it might be impossible to come back. So let's see what happens. Devin Hudson throws the second ball. He goes a strike there, kills the whole pocket, so that's good. Guy Poor leaves a 7 count. Guy Poor can go out if he picks up the spare with 264. So he's truly the best bowler on that team right now by getting 264. Jimmy Johnson shot a 254. So the Hills Have Eyes looking very strong. They're going to be tough to beat down the line. They have a couple of losses, unfortunately, but you never can take any team for granted. And Devin Hudson goes out with a 201. That's significant for Devin Hudson because he had 2 opens in that game. So when you have 2 opens in a game, Guy Poor goes out 263. So right now, currently, Hills Have Eyes is up on Showtime on the scratch pair by 102 sticks. It's not insurmountable to come back from, but you have to be able to bowl consistently in order to do so. Now we're going to look at Handicap 2. Looks like Shane Spellman's working on a 5-bagger here. Let's see if he can actually throw. Oh, as soon as I say something, he leaves a 10-pin. Shane Spellman is a strong bowler on Hills Have Eyes. He's an anchor bowler, but he's anchoring today the second team handicap. Looks like his team is not bowling as good as Showtime on the second team handicap. So it's going to be important that Showtime actually Hills Have Eyes can actually stop the bleeding on the second team handicap. Right now, they're being defeated by the culmination of bowlers of Terry Bollinger, Cole Bowling, and Derek Brown Jr. They're putting a heroic effort. Shane Spellman picks up the spare, which is important because he's the only one who actually marked in that pair. Other 2 bowlers had opens on that pair for some reason. Mr. Barrett DiVirgilio and Mr. Joseph Robinson. So it's a tough start for Hills Have Eyes on the second team handicap. Mr. Barrett throws the ball. He throws a strike here. And it's going into the first frame, 10th frame. He needs to strike out just so he can get a 193. So let's see what happens going forward for Hills Have Eyes on this pair. It's not over by far. Terry Bollinger throws a strike in her first ball in the 10th frame. So this is going to be a dogfight. Terry Bollinger can go out for a 229, I believe. Oh, no, I'm sorry. She can go out for a 209. And Barrett can go out for a 193. So let's see what Barrett does here. He leaves the 8-pin, the 9-pin. So, unfortunately, the 6-pin. Unfortunately, that's not the pin he needed to strike out just so he can close the gap for Hills Have Eyes on the second team handicap. So all of this to give you a understanding of what's going on here, is 2 points. You win 2 points. You get 40 points max in the game. 2 points for every win on the game. 4 pins for totals on each pair. You combine total pins from across the board, you get an extra 10 pins. So right now, Hills Have Eyes won by 102 on the first team handicap. On the scratch pair. Right now here on the first team handicap, looks like Showtime is actually winning. They're eating into that lead. So now it's going to matter about what is it that Hills Have Eyes does in the first team handicap to actually determine what the total pin count is going. So it's not how you start, but how you finish. If each team remains strong, anything can happen. Okay, unfortunately, looks like Mr. Joe Robinson is having a tough day thus far. Going into the 10th frame, he's up at 129. Mr. Joe Robinson has an average of 221. You do not want to be that low. I know that Pleasant Hill can be very tricky for any bowler, but the question becomes, can you finish the job? Can you do what you have to do in order to win the match? That's going to be the key question here. Mr. Cope, he rushed to the line. He brought his hand across his body. So he left an opening in the 10th frame with a split. You do not want to do that when you want to be able to try to win the match. Right now, even though your team is up by 115, you don't want to take that for granted. You need to make sure that you match the energy that's out there. This is very important for Showtime on the second team handicap to win by a lot, because they're on the first team handicap, they're losing a lot. They're losing by 84. So it's not how you start, but how you finish. So how you finish a match is very important. Mr. Colt Bollinger, unfortunately, he had a great game going. He goes out with 209. He could have went out with 230 or better. Okay. So Mr. Joseph Robinson goes out. He finished his 10th frame. Unfortunately, I know he did not expect to have such a bad game. But the question is, at this point, can Hills Have Eyes turn around on the second team handicap? Because every mark counts. Mr. Robinson went out with a 148. That's not a good matchup. You want to be able to finish the match strong. Each game you want to finish strong. So let's see what happens. Derek Brown Jr. Shout out to his father, Derek Brown Sr. He's back on the mend. Everybody keep sending your prayers up for him. Derek Brown Jr. goes out with a strike here. First ball in the 10th frame. The question is, can he strike out? He wants to make sure he gives his team as many pin count as possible and how they finish the match. So it's imperative that they continue to throw strikes to win this game and to win by a wide margin. Let's see what Derek Brown Jr. does in this match. Looks like Hills Have Eyes are talking to each other because they're not matching the energy that Showtime on the second team handicap are putting out. And now there's a great concern that it could cost them, if they do that all three games, it could cost them the match for totals. You don't want to work this hard and then you don't put up. So Derek Brown Jr. throws another strike. The anchor man for Hills Have Eyes is Mr. Shane Spellman. So they're talking to each other. They had a team meeting on the lanes before the anchor man even finishes the game. And they're telling each other, look, we can't have it. We can't afford to have this. Now, in the UBA, you can only sub one person into the match. So if your team is having a hard, tough go at it, you want to make sure that you at least do whatever you can to try to stop the bleeding. It's one of the ways to stop the bleeding. Either you coach your man up or you tell your man, hey, I need you have to sub out so you give our team a chance to win the match. So that's going to be the most important thing that you're going to have to do. Derek Brown Jr., DB the Great, is actually going to try to throw his last shot. He can go out with a 226. And he leaves a 9 count, but he goes out with a 225. Good game for Derek Brown Jr. Looks like here's Shane Spellman. They're talking to all now. Looks like Hills Have Eyes having a conversation all across the board because they know that they have lost. You know, now they know that they have an opportunity to be able to take over the match, but they have to finish strong. Showtime was in on both on the scratch pair and on the first team handicap. This game has stopped in the middle of a match. I don't understand why, but Shane Spellman should be bowling. They're not losing that much where they actually have to worry about what they're going to do strategy-wise. They're talking to each other, but it's not a game where you have to talk to each other that much. They won by 105. Hills Have Eyes, first team handicap, won by 105 sticks. So it's not like they can't win. They just have to settle down and do what they have to do. Shane Spellman got an 8 count on the second ball that he threw in the 10th frame. So they'll only be down by 117 if he picks this up on the second team handicap. Looks like Hills Have Eyes took care of business on the scratch pair as well as on the first team handicap. But you never want to give a team an opportunity to think that they can come back in a match. Shane Spellman picks up. He goes out with a 212. And so Hills Have Eyes, and maybe it was bowling anybody else, they may have would have lost on that. Well, they did lose on the second team handicap, but that was just a bad match, a bad game. So once again, I believe I would blame it more on the house, than on the bowlers. Then the first thing is important is that these guys that Hills Have Eyes, they want to dominate. They need every point so they can take over first place comfortably. Okay, they're going to start it off again. Looks like Terry Bollinger actually starts you off with a 9 count on the second team handicap. Let's see if Mr. Barrett, Devin Hudson's trying to start his team off. Look like they are trying to meet the challenge that Hills Have Eyes have on the scratch pair. Terry Bollinger had left for 7-pin. She's actually a seasoned vet. She's a former Vixen champion. She's currently shares the tag team championship for UBA North Cruise Cap team champion, tag team champion. So she's used to being champion. She's used to all this kind of pressure here. And she throws at the 7-pin, and she's winning. She just picked it up. All right, let's see if Mr. Barrett can pick up his spare. He's throwing a great game. Now you just have to continue on what you're doing. It's lefty versus lefty in the leadoff department, so nobody can say that somebody had an advantage. They didn't do that. They had an opportunity to throw a strike. I like Terry Bollinger's ball more than Mr. Barrett's ball, so let's see what happens here. And we're still waiting for Mr. Barrett to pick up his 7-pin. Sometimes when you wait too long, it adds pressure to you in a match. You definitely don't want to do that. And he misses the shot. Sometimes you don't want to wait too long because it freezes you. And that's what happened. Mr. Barrett got frozen. Okay, unfortunately, Mr. Barrett leads off on the second team handicap with a missing the 7-pin. Now Mr. Joseph Robinson throws a 8 count. Question is, can Showtime defeat them? And unfortunately, Mr. Koch leaves misses. So he gave back Mr. Robinson chops the ball. So the first two bowlers for Hills Have Eyes on the first frame in the second game, they all have opens. They both have opens. Unfortunately, Koch is the only one with the open in the first frame of the second game. He has to get back on track. Showtime with a bunch of competitors, strong competitors. Let's see if Mr. DB Jr. can actually close the frame out with a strike here to pick up Koch. And he leaves a 9 count. Just threw a little bit too far out, but he's a very strong bowler. Shane Spellman, see what he does. Shane throws a strike, but his other two bowlers have open. So right now, Showtime is, as long as DB Jr. picks up the spare, they'll be ahead on the spare. They'll be up by 20 if he throws a spare. This by far is not over. Showtime destroyed. Hills have eyes on the second team handicap the first game. The question is, can they continue with that momentum? Okay, Miss Terry Bollinger is up on the second team handicap. Let's see if she can strike here. Okay, Terry Bollinger leaves a 2 count, unfortunately. 5-7. Question is, can she get back on her strike game? Terry Bollinger is a very accomplished bowler. She has to strike out from here on out. And Mr. Barrett is off balance in his approach to the line. He's going fast to the line, and unfortunately, he brings his hand across your body. You can't bowl here in this house and bring your hand across your body and think you're going to be able to make the adjustment. You just cannot do that. Terry Bollinger throwing her spare ball. She picks up the 2 pins. So let's see now, Mr. Barrett. He's already missed the 7 pin earlier. Let's see if he can pick up the 8 pin right here. Okay, Mr. Barrett does pick up the spare. Mr. Barrett averages 224, so he knows that he has to do what he has to do in order to get back into this match. And Mr. Coke comes back with a strike. That's actually a statement ball because he didn't really bowl as well as he could have in the first game. He could have went out with a 240, 250 game. He goes out with 212. Oh, Mr. Robinson. That's not the way that he matched Coke with the strike there. So the question is, can Mr. Robinson and Mr. Coke stay on point? The question is, can either bowler continue to bowl well in this match? That's going to be the key here. There's no room for error when it comes to bowling. It's not how you start, but how you finish. Derek Brown Jr. releases the ball. Come back with a strike. Good shot. Good shot. Showtime is in this match. They're coming under unsurmountable odds to try to win this match. It's going to be a great game. All right, Mr. Barrett throws a strike finally in the match, so that's good. Let's see what Terry Bollinger do. Terry Bollinger is steady, but slow but steady. Let's see if she can throw a strike here. All she has to do is give her team an opportunity to continue to win. Is to stay ahead of Mr. Barrett. Showtime is getting 40 sticks, which is 70% of 240, so they're getting 40 sticks more in this match versus Showtime. Or 26, I'm sorry, in this match versus Showtime. Let's see what they do. And Terry Bollinger throws a strike, so she answers the call and keeps ahead by 9 pins against Mr. Barrett. All right, Mrs. Joe Robinson throws a strike here, ladies and gentlemen. He throws a double. His teammates are jumping high as it can be because they know that he had been struggling the first game. All right, let's see if Mr. Shane Spellman can throw a strike. Colt comes back with double now. He's had a split in the first frame, come back-to-back strikes, so he has a double here. So these guys are actually doing what they're supposed to do when it comes to bowling. All right, let's see if Mr. Shane Spellman can come up with a turkey here. And he does. This is type of match where you got to be able to throw that ball wide to the right. Don't throw it past 5, but keep your speed up so the ball can snap back into the pocket. Pleasant Hill is not very difficult. You just have to know how to play it. DB Jr., he throws a split. And that's not impossible for him to pick up, but it is very challenging. And DB Jr. picks up 1 out of 2 pins. All right, next in the start the 4th frame, Terry Bollinger versus Mr. Barrett. Let's see if Terry can throw another strike. Each ball is very important. Okay, she got the ball out, come back to the pocket, another strike. Beautiful, slow but steady. She is a very consistent bowler, which makes her very difficult to defeat. Terry is a very strong bowler for Showtime. This would be a great win for Showtime if they happen to win this matchup. So let's see what Mr. Barrett does. He always throws very strong ball, but he leaves his 7-pin. His hair seems to be jumping up and down every time he throws the ball. See Jeff throws his ball. Jeff leads. Sorry. Let's see if Mr. Coke can throw a ball here. Get 3 in a row. Nice speed. Throws a strike. Another strike. Another strike for Coke. Have a Coke and a smile. Makes you feel good. Refreshing. Have a Coke and a smile. All right, see if Mr. Barrett can pick that 10-pin up. That 7-pin. Okay, he does. Last time he missed it. He couldn't afford to miss it and then give his team an opportunity to get back into the match. Okay, Mr. DB Jr. is up. Let's see if he can actually throw a strike here, because last time he threw a split. Right now, Showtime is up by 40. Well, Joe Robinson has not bowled yet, so let's see what he does here. He can bring the totals down to 16. And Hills Have Eyes on the second team handicap can actually go ahead. Joe Robinson leads the 10-pin. It's early, but both teams need to be able to start throwing strikes. DB Jr. gets the ball out, brings back. Okay, he didn't keep his speed up. He threw it in the right direction, but he didn't keep his speed up. So in that case, you always want to make sure that you keep your speed up, because it's imperative. If you plan on winning the match, you want to make sure you get strikes. You don't want to leave anything on the table. All right, Joe Robinson picks up the 10-pin. All right, first game was a nightmare. This game looks like he's coming back on. Looks like Shane Spellman is trying to keep his team in the game so that Hills Have Eyes don't lose too many points. So let's see what happens here. And Derek Brown Jr. picks up the 2 pins in the corner. At this point, it's important for Showtime to continue to be consistent. They have to close their frames, but they really need to throw strikes as a team. So going into the 5th frame, you have 2 strikes for Terry Bollinger as well as 2 strikes for Mr. Cole Bowling. So right now, Showtime needs to continue to throw strikes when Hills have eyes on the second team handicap are throwing spares. Right here, Shane Spellman throws a strike here. Hills have eyes on the second team handicap will be up by 3. Let's see what Shane does. He throws another strike. He starts off with a 4-bagger to begin the second game. That's huge for his team and the team's confidence, because anytime you can stay around, you can impact another team. Now, the difference is that Showtime is actually on 2 strikes for their first 2 bowlers and a spare on the third on their anchor man, and only one person for Hills have eyes on the second team handicap, which is Shane Spellman, is running with a 4-bagger. They need to throw strikes. Literally, they have to throw strikes because they're already down in totals in the match. Let's see what Barrett does. That's not a good ball for Barrett, but he leaves the 7-pin again. Barrett throws very hard, so sometimes when you throw very hard and you're going quickly to the line, your ball doesn't have a chance to do what it was designed to do. See what Terry Bollinger does. She takes her time to the ball, throws the ball, and she throws another strike. That's a turkey for Terry Bollinger. This is where experience comes into play. It's not how fast you throw the ball oftentimes, sometimes as long as you throw a good ball. And that's what you want to do in this match. You want to be able to throw good bowling balls, good shots in the match. So let's see what happens here. Okay, question is, can Mr. Barrett pick up his spare on the 7-pin? And Mr. Barrett does pick up the 7-pin. Okay, Mr. Koch throws it. He was on a 3-bagger, left the 7-pin. He just has to pick it up. Right now, let's see if Mr. Joe Robinson can match what he's doing. You don't want to be the person that messes your team up. So let's see what happens here. All right, Mr. Robinson throws the ball. He throws it strike. Looks like Joe Robinson has found something here. Looks like he's trying to bowl very well in this match. Mr. Cole picks up his 7-pin. So these guys are still going back and forth. Shane Spellman's going for a 5-bagger here. Question is, can he continue up the speed? Because the only way that your team can remain in the match is if your team actually bowls very well and your anchor man does his job. Once again, it's not how you start, but how you finish. Shane Spellman throws another strike. That's 5 in a row for Shane Spellman. All right, once again, we have Derek Brown Jr. trying to throw a strike here. He only has 1 strike in the game here in the second game. Let's see if he throws a strike here. It's a very big strike here if he can do it. There you go. There you go, DB Jr. You guys are right in the match. Let's do what you got to do. See Terry Bollinger leading off. It's not how you start, once again. It's how you finish. These guys are throwing a great game, and then nobody is out of this match. So let's see what we can do here. Terry Bollinger throws her first ball here. Is out like she likes it, and breaks right into the pocket. 4-bagger. Terry Bollinger. All right. Now Mr. Koch is up on the second ball. Mr. Barrett still hasn't thrown his ball for Hills Ave. Let's see what they do here. Let's see what Mr. Barrett does. See if he learns not to throw the ball so hard. And he leaves a 7-pin. Sometimes when you toss the ball out and you don't give the ball the opportunity to flip and roll into the pocket, that's what happened. Terry Bollinger has been throwing a great ball. Let's see if Mr. Koch can do the same thing. Okay, he puts the ball down early. Come back and he throws a strike. That's what you got to do, ladies and gentlemen. You have to throw strikes, but it's how your ball comes back to the pocket. Okay, Mr. Barrett, we still waiting on Mr. Barrett here. If this is no tap, he have a 300 game going. Let's see if he can pick up that 7. Oh, he's playing basketball. But he throws it hard enough at least to pick up the 10-pin. For a lefty, that's supposed to be an easy shot. It's not guaranteed, but you're supposed to win that easy shot. All right, Mr. Derek Brown Jr. is up. Let's see if he can actually throw a double here, get his team back into the match. Right now, they need to chew into that totals lead that they had that they lost in the first game. I mean, they won in the first game. They want to build on it. Hills Ave is doing very well on the other two games. Nothing is guaranteed, but you want to be able to bowl well so that you give your team a chance at totals across the board on all three pairs. So the better you do, no matter how, you can never forget about how many pins that you have to have. You want to get as many pins as possible. So whether you're defeating or you're destroying a team on a pair, you might want to make sure that your team is destroying that pair every ball that's thrown. Why? Because it's important when the total pins across the board. That's 10 points. That could be the difference of you making the playoffs or not. See what Derek Brown Jr. does here. And he throws another strike. Look like he's settling in to how he wants to throw his ball. His ball looks very nice at this point. And Joe Robinson picks up his spare. So right now it's a strong match going back and forth. Right now, the man that's keeping Hills Ave in the match at this point is Mr. Shane Spellman, a.k.a. Elfin Man. Elfin Magic, rather. Let's see what he does here. First one, Hudson. Elfin Magic throws the ball. And he gets rid of that 10-pin all the way out, so that's good for Shane Spellman. Right now, Shane Spellman has thrown 6 in a row. He's keeping his team in the matchup. Right now, they're in the lead by 30, but it could go either way. It could be one way or the next. You never know how your team is going to perform until you're called on to do so. And Mr. Barrett still leaving with single pins. Once again, Mr. Barrett looked like he's playing a no tap at this point. Okay, Mr. Barrett picks up the 7-pin Question is, can he finish the match here? Each team is right now, it looks like Hills Have Eyes is up because of Mr. Shane Spellman, but also Mr. Koch threw a not too good of a ball. He dropped his shoulder. His hand came across his body. Sometimes when you go too fast to line, that's what can happen. All right, let's see if Mr. Shane Spellman, he has 6 in a row. Now he's going for 7. Mr. Koch got 2 out of the 4 pins that he left. That's an open that Hills Have Eyes could not afford to have at this point. Okay, let's see if Mr. DB Jr. can throw a triple here. Ooh. Showtime been bowling pretty good up to this point. They need to be able to close these frames out on the second team handicap, give them a shot to win this game. They need to win all 3 games just to win 10 points plus totals. They give their team a chance to win in the match. So anything can happen. This is far from over. But you definitely do not want to be in a situation where you hurt your team. All right, Koch is getting ready to throw it. Mr. Barrett still hadn't thrown his ball. He seemed to take his lucky time when he don't really need to do that. All right, Koch threw an 8 count. He needs to try to pick up those 2 pins. He left for mother-in-law. Now Mr. Barrett throws the ball. Let's see if he can pick up his spare. He does. That's a good thing. Right now, Showtime has an opportunity to make a major difference in the match, but the question is, can he actually do it? All right, right now Shane Spellman going for 8 in a row. The question is now, can DB Jr. get back on his solo success that he had earlier with 2 strikes in a row? It's very important that he throw a strike here once again, just so he can keep their team in the match. Anything can happen. Then he backs off on the pair. All right, Derek Brown had to take care of some information for my team. My team is bowling on another match, so Derek Brown threw a split in the 8th frame. Shane Spellman's on a 300 pace with 8 in a row. At this point, you never know how the game can go. Terry Bollinger with her first ball, leading off. Ooh! Now she was on 6 in a row. Now she threw 7. Okay, okay, Mr. Barrett's out of trouble. See if we can roll and get that other 7 pin. No, it tapped it, but it didn't knock it down. He has a no-tap 300 here. Unfortunately, right now, Terry Bollinger is going for the 7 pin. And she's so confident, she turns her back on it. So Terry Bollinger is bowling a heck of a game. She's keeping her team in the matchup in the second game. Showtime is not out the match, but they need to step it up even further. Mr. Barrett picks just picks up that 7 pin. He's not out of it. Let's see what Mr. Koch does. He needs to throw a strike here just for his confidence alone. Mr. Joe Robinson throws a ring around a rosy shot, and he actually gets a strike there. So right now, Showtime is still in the match. Shane Spellman has an opportunity to throw 9 in a row. He can set his team up real nicely to win this game, this second game, and Koch just misses the ball with it. You cannot afford to do that if you're trying to win this game. With his anchor man struggling, he has to be a better setup man. All right, let's see if Derek Brown Jr. can get back on his strike game. The most important thing is for him to see how he finishes the match. And Derek Brown Jr. throws a 9 count, leaves a 10 pin. more question is, can Shane Spellman keep up what he's doing? Shane Spellman is throwing an awesome game. He threw a decent game the first game. Let's see if he can continue on and possibly get a 300 here. Okay, shows Shane Spellman throws 9 in a row. Let's see if Derek Brown Jr. can pick up that spare. Looks like with no problem. Going into the 10th frame, even with Shane Spellman throwing a 300 pace game, looks like here Showtime is still in the match. They're only down by 18 sticks. The only problem is that Shane Spellman's the only one that it has a 3 in a row going into the 10th frame. Question is, at this point, can they actually finish the shot? Can they finish the shot and go into the game without wearing? Let's see if Terry Bollinger can actually start them off. She's bowling very well this game. She gets the ball out like she likes it. Ball come back. Ooh, it didn't finish. When that ball didn't finish, it left the 7-pin. See if Mr. Barrett does. Can he actually throw a strike for a change? Yes, he can. Yes, he can, ladies and gentlemen. Look like the people in Hills Have Eyes are actually throwing a party for him. All right, let's see if Terry Bollinger can actually pick this up. She can go out with a 246 potentially. Let's see if she can pick up this 7-pin. She's been bowling masterfully today. Looks like she got it. They always say knowledge is power. Question is, what do you do with that knowledge? Mr. Barrett throws his second ball and see if he can throw another strike. Oh, well, at least he got a strike in the first ball he threw in the 10th frame. He has 2 strikes in this whole second game. So Mr. Barrett can go out with a 184. Terry Bollinger with the strike can go out with a 246. Masterful bowling here. And she goes out with a 9 count. So Terry Bollinger finishes with a 245. Mr. Barrett, if he picks up the 7-pin, can actually go out with a 184. Once again, Shane Spellman has kept his team in the match, this whole match. Okay, Mr. Barrett picks up the 7-pin, so now he goes out with a 184. Shane Spellman has been masterfully bowling this game and has given Showtime an opportunity to get closer and closer and close that gap for the totals. And Mr. Joe Robinson throws an 8 count for the first ball in the 10th frame. At this point, you want to make sure that you finish strong. Mr. Coke throws the ball, and he throws a split, so that's not good for him. Let's see if Mr. Joe Robinson can pick that up. He does. Showtime with all the momentum in the first game. They're giving up their total count. So now they're going to have to squeeze a little harder when it comes to the second game. Now, Coke, he didn't get it fast enough. We should start a little bit more to the ball up on the right side and then allow the ball to swing back over. He would have picked up that spare. That's not an impossible spare to win. Now, Mr. Joe Robinson throws. Coke goes out with a 167. That's not acceptable for his team or for himself. Coke's the type of bowler that will seize the moment, recognize the situation, and try to come back with strikes. So let's see what happens from here. Now let's see if DB Jr. can go out with strikes here. Makes it, he won't be able to have his team to win the game, but at least he'll be able to get it closer. And then for Elfman Magic, we'll see if he can't throw a 300. Right now, Showtime wants to stay ahead of the total pin count. And he throws a strike the first game. He took his time getting to the line. He didn't heave the ball. He rolled the ball. That was an excellent shot by Mr. Derek Brown Jr. And Shane Spellman for the third ball in the 10th frame. He has 10 in a row. He only needs 2 more balls to throw a 300. Nobody would have ever expected someone to throw a 300 in this house, being as though it's so hard to bowl here. Let's see if DB Jr. can stop the bleeding and at least put another strike there. DB Jr. throws the ball and throws a split. Right now, he's not bowling with a lot of confidence, but he's still able to do so. I've seen Derek Brown Jr. do it, and he can come back with his twinkling of an eye and actually bowl very well. So the question is, will he be able to finish here, pick up that spare? Sometimes that can be, anything can be a confidence booster to your team. Shane Spellman left the 10 pin on the second ball. He threw a great game this match, so he kept his team in the match. Shane Spellman can go out with a 270. 289. Sometimes the toughest ball to throw, you've been throwing real good the other several frames beforehand. Now you can't finish the shot, so good shooting, Shane Spellman. Let's see if Shane to pick up that 10 pin. Shane Spellman goes out with a 289. Great game, Shane Spellman on the second team handicap. They won by 61 sticks. Totals now is 1329 to 1273. All right, now they're about to start off on the first team handicap. Right now, it looks like Hills Have Eyes been dominating on this pair. Jeff, the big guy, starts off with a 9 spare. Let's see what Mr. Dante Corbin does with his first ball in the match in the third game. I've seen teams go out and win a lot of matches just the way that they've been bowling. So you're never out completely. Okay, second bowler for Hills Have Eyes, Mr. Scott. Throws a strike, his second ball. Look, Dante Corbin picks up his spare. At this point, it's going to be a matter of who can finish the shot. In the boxing match, now you want to make sure that you have an opportunity to finish the game. So Felicia Mashore is up for Showtime as the second bowler on the first team handicap. The question is, can they finish? This would be a great win for Derek Brown if they actually come back and win this game. So it's not impossible. It's impossible for Showtime to win totals on this pair on the first team handicap, but a win for the third game would be a big victory for them.
need that.
All right, Mr. Robert Smalls throw his ball in the first. Okay, he got out of trouble there. He could have thrown a split. Mr. Smalls is called easy rolling for a reason. This young fella is an outstanding bowler. The question is, can they actually do it? He when no matter what house he's in, his bowling ball always bowls nice and easy into the pocket. Okay, it's a spare on the second frame. Mr. Rob Small closes out his frame with a spare. So right now, anything can happen. Showtime does not have the opportunity to be able to win totals, overall total, but they can get these victories. Every point counts. Every point counts. So the question is, can you do what you need to do? All right, Miss Felicia had a 8 spare in the first frame. Let's see what she does in the second frame. She's a backup bowler, but she seems to be rolling pretty good in terms of how she's able to control her bowling ball. She has 9 counts, so that's not bad. She left the 2-pin, but the thing is, her teammates are encouraging her every time. She might have said she give up, but when you say you give up, that means that you're giving up not only on yourself, but on your team. So you don't want to be that person that gives up and you don't give your team a chance to win the game. Let's see if Felicia can pick up her spare. Looks like she's locking on. She should be able to pick it up with no problem. All right, the question is, can Mr. Rob Smalls do that? Okay, easy rollers up. Let's see if he can finish the shot here. Throws it out past 5. That's normally hasn't worked for anybody, but he gets a strike there. So maybe the lanes are breaking down. Showtime seem to be encouraging each other on that pair. Let's see if Jess picks up his spare, and he does. Hill has eyes have not bowled. He's the first bowl in the second frame actually bowled. So let's see now for Hills have eyed Mr. Scott. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his last name. Kafargaberger, see what he can do with this match, with this second ball here. This is like a boxing match here. You never know how your team is going to perform until you get punched in the mouth. Then once you get punched in the mouth, you have to see how you're going to perform overall. Scott throws a strike here. He throws a double. So he's giving his team an opportunity to pull ahead against Showtime and also have an opportunity to eat into the overall totals. Once again, it's early, but you do not want to start off where you don't actually get the job done. All right, let's see what Mr. James Ellenworth does here. First ball he shot a 9 count, picked up his spare. Let's see what he does here. You want to at least match what the other anchor man is doing. James Ellenworth will get the ball out, throws a strike there. James Ellenworth is a very accomplished bowler. He can actually bowl extremely well when he's locked in. Question is, can he do it the rest of the day? You might have a great resume, but the question is, can you continue to do so against the opponent that you're bowling against at that moment in time? Okay, let's see if Mr. Jeff can actually throw a strike here. He throws 2 spares, 9 counts, and he throws a strike here. He's right on the part where he needs to be. Question is, can he finish the job? It's not an easy game. We understand that. But against Showtime, you don't want to give him too much of a room for error. Showtime's getting 27-6 on the first team handicap, so that's the difference. But it looks like Hills Have Eyes is already eating up into that lead. Let's see if Dante Corbin can actually throw another strike here. Dante Corbin didn't get the messenger, but leaves a 10-pin. He's actually rolling the ball pretty good. It's not how you start, but how you finish. Showtime at this point needs to start winning games. That's how you continue to climb the ladder. Mr. Scott here throws the ball. He throws another strike. So it's a turkey. First 3 balls he's thrown in the 10th frame, in the third frame, first 3 frames. So he's actually doing his part as a teammate to actually do well to keep Hills Have Eyes to win this last and final game on the first team handicap. They won the first 2 games. Now they can take 10 on that pair. Anything can happen going forward. This is an outstanding game no matter what. Let's see what the James Elderworth can do. Can he double up here? Showtime on this pair has to start beginning to throw strikes consistently. They're just going to be outmatched by the firepower of Hills Have Eyes. Hills Have Eyes made the playoffs for a reason. All right, Miss LaSure threw a jersey strike as a backup bowler. She doesn't look all that confident, but she at least threw a strike. She didn't even smile, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe she's locked in like that. Who knows? Derek Brown, Mr. Easy Roller's up. Let's see if he can double up here. They need to be able to match strikes with Hills Have Eyes, at least to give themselves an opportunity to win this game right here. Bowl the ball, easy ball, and then he throws a strike. Very good. All right. Rob Small throws a strike. He throws a double. So now everybody in the third frame for Hills Have Eyes threw strikes. And unfortunately, Mr. Dante Corbin didn't throw a strike in the third frame, but this is the side that he's been bowling good on, so we're expecting him to throw strikes this frame right here. Let's see what he does. Okay, Dante Corbin comes back with a strike there. Now that's something to build off. He's a very strong, consistent bowler. And unfortunately, Mr. Jeff throws a spare. So if it was no tap, he would have a 300 game going. He's still got to pick up that spare. There's no room for error for Hills Have Eyes on this pair. They can give away a game, and then anything can happen. Mr. Shore got a 9 count, but what she has to understand is that sometimes Miss LaShore's average is a 184, but sometimes all you have to do is spare up. And Mr. Shore picks up that spare. So through the first 4 frames, even though Mr. Shore is a 184 bowler, she hasn't had an open yet. So that's really good for her.
on, Hudson. Yes. That's why you down there, baby. That's why you down there. Get the spare, man. Come on, let's go. Come on.
Let's see if Mr. Easy Roller can blow a triple. That would be huge for Showtime at this point. Oh, he leaves a 10-pin. Now, even though he left the 10-pin, seems like he's settled down in this match. He's actually bowling pretty good. But let's see what he can do from here on out. Easy Roller does have some issues with his 10 pins, but looks like today he's been throwing pretty good. So it's going to be huge to see if he can pick that up. Scott taking his time. Sometimes you can freeze a man out if they have to pick up their 10 pin. And the Easy Roller, unfortunately, throws the ball into the gutter. Let's see if what Scott does. Let's see if he can pick the ball up, pick the pin up. You have to throw it over the third arrow. He throws over the third arrow and picks up the 10 pin. His teammates is cheering. I wonder if that means that he has trouble picking up his 10 pins. Let's see if James Ellingsworth actually throws a strike here. So let's see if he actually throws another strike here. He can actually pull the game within 5 pins for Hills Have Eyes in this frame here, and actually gives them an opportunity to take over the lead in the next frame. 5th frame is pivotal. Showtime needs to start putting a string of strikes together in order to win. James Ellingsworth throws a triple. Right now, it's very important for Showtime. Even though they have a totals pin count that's pretty good, they need to make sure that they do everything they can to try to win, because right now it's a close matchup in terms of total pins. Shane Spellman leaves a 7 pin on the second team handicap. All right, let's see if Jeff does on the 5th, starting off the 5th frame for Hills Have Eyes on the first team handicap. Okay, it's not the way we like to see it happen, but he did get he did get a strike here. The question is, can Dante Corbin build on the strike that he got in the 4th frame? He's capable of putting a string of strikes together. The question is, can he actually get it done? Looks like he throw a good ball there. Ooh, yes, he throws a strike there. There you go. He's not Weapon X for nothing. Okay, right now, Showtime on the scratch pair lost in terms of total. They did a valiant effort, but they got back into the match. They actually are only down by 34 sticks. The question is, what's going to happen on the first team handicap for Showtime on the first team handicap? That's where the game is going to be lost or won due to the total pin count. Mr. Shore throws the ball. It's going right at the head pin. Right now she leads the 5 pin. So at this point, it's important that Showtime put together some strikes, because the more they can get that total pin count down, the better it is for them. Their scratch team did their job. The question is, can the first team handicap do their job? They're down by a lot, don't get me wrong, but you at least got to win a game. You got to try to bowl as well as you can by throwing strikes, in order to give your team a chance to actually do well. So Scott picks up his 10 pin. Look like they eat that for lunch. Let's see if Felicia LaShore can pick up her 5 pin. And she does. So once again, Felicia LaShore is actually bowling a clean game. She's a 184 bowler, but that means a lot when you can actually keep your team in the match. If you don't keep your team in the match because you're throwing different balls, you don't give yourself a chance to win. James Ellenworth going on for 4 in a row. Let's see if he can actually do this. Once again, Pleasant Hill is not an easy place to play, so If you know how to bowl, you know how to bowl. You do what you got to do to keep that shot going. Uh-oh. Ring 10-pin. They said messenger that it fell into the gutter. Let's see what Easy Roller does. He missed his 10-pin the last time, so he's come back with a strike. Showtime is not out of the match on the first team handicap, but they have to do it. And Easy Roller comes back with a strike. That's one way they have to deal with the 10-pin, is get out in the first ball. So the question is, can they finish the job? Once again, it's not how you start, but how you finish. James Ellingworth throws his ball, picks up the 10-pin with no problem. So in order to be a great playoff team, you have to be the kind of team that actually bowls well and picks up your spares. That's extremely important when you start bowling, when you're bowling and you start looking at your team in terms of playoffs. See if Dante Corbin, he's going up in the sixth frame to see if he can get a triple, get 3 in a row. All right, Weapon X is up to throw. Let's see if he can throw a 3 in a row. Got the ball out. He got it too far. Sometimes when you come around and you need to stay underneath the ball, that's what happens. All right, see if Jeff throw the ball. He picks up his four pins. So now at this point, Jeff has a clean game. Dante, if he picks these 3 up, still has a clean game. But in order to beat Hills Have Eyes on this pair, they have not won a game yet, but they have to throw strikes. They have the ability, they just have to throw the strikes. Dante Corbin picks up his spare. So at this point, the only person who has an open is Easy Roller because he missed the 10-pin. But they still need to throw strikes. Right now, Scott is up. If he was no tap, he'd bowl a 300 game right now. And Scott throws a strike, so now Felicia Mashore has to answer the buzzer and throw strikes. You cannot win a game like this if you don't throw strikes. Felicia Mashore leads a split, unfortunately, and because she's a backup bowler, it's not impossible to pick that up, but it's going to be very difficult. James Ellingworth throws another 9 count, so this question is going to be, can he pick that up? Felicia throws her ball. She picks up 2 pins to the left, which was an easier pin, but that's her first open in this game. She's a 184 bowler, and she's doing everything she can to stay in the match. So right now, Showtime has to, once again, throw strikes. They can't afford to throw spares against a juggernaut in Hills Have Eyes on the first team handicap. And James Ellingworth misses the 10-pin. That is uncharacteristic of what he does. At this point, he has to be able to regroup and throw the pins like bowl the ball like he knows how to. Let's see if Easy Roller can pick up those 3. Dante Corbin throws another 7 count. He needed to throw a strike there just so he can try to stay ahead of Jeff. Jeff is a very accomplished bowler. Both of these gentlemen are really within close in terms of average. Dante Corbin, 223. Jeff is a 223. So it's even Steven. The question is, who's going to finish strong? You don't have those averages by accident. See if Dante Corbin can pick this up. And he used a spare ball. Even when you use a spare ball, you still got to finish. You got to come through. Make sure you get that's. And Jeff almost threw a split, and then he only left it. It's an 8 count, I believe. Showtime coming down to the end. This match is close. You can't afford to have opens. You're once up and now you're down. You can't have that. You have to be able to go strong into the pocket. All right, Felicia LaShore has an 8 count, but by her being a left-handed backup bowler, she should be able to pick those 2 pins up to the left. Now Jeff left the 8 pin. He should be able to pick that up with no problem. And he doesn't. Has no problem with that. All right, now at this point, next time Jeff throws the ball, if he throws a strike, he'll be ahead of Dante Corbin by 5 pins. The question is, can each bowler finish out? This is a dogfight. This is not a gimme shot. And Felicia LaShore picks up her spare. So once again, for her in particular, it's very important that you continue to spare if you're not throwing strikes. You don't want to leave it open and give the other team an opportunity to come back and finish the game on you. This is a tight matchup right now. Nobody's running away with the game. The question is, can you finish it? Let's see if Scott can throw a strike here. He threw a strike the last frame. Throw the ball where it should be. Looks like he should throw a strike. He got a messenger to finish that shot, so anything can happen. Easy Roller throws a strike. Now it looks like here he's throwing the strikes on the odd pair. He did throw it one strike in this game, one time on the even pair. So he's going to have to go back and forth for the strikes. As being an anchor man, there is pressure on you, but you got to finish. You got to finish. James Ellenworth has a ring, 10 pin, so this is not his game. Mr. Ellenworth normally bowls extremely well. Question is, can he finish? He has to pick this 10 pin up. You don't want it to be where you have some drama occurring where teams get confident they can come back and try to win the game. Hills Have Eyes on the first team handicap is up by a whole bunch. At this point, by 186 sticks. Let's see if Showtime get back into the match. So, and Jeff throws another 9 count, leaves the 8 pin. So at this point, they can't go wrong in losing the game. But Showtime has the ability to strike out, and that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to give Showtime the opportunity to strike out and sneak and win the game. Dante Corbin throws the ball out, comes back, leaves the 7 pin. He's been throwing the ball very well today, just that his ball is not reactive enough to drive through the pins, which gets all the pins. So at this point, it's going to be very interesting to see how everything goes. Dante Corbin throws the ball, and he picks up that 7 pin. Easy pin for a right-hander, but sometimes you can, if you don't throw it fast enough, it can go into the gutter on the left side. Scott has the opportunity to throw a triple and going into the 8th frame, which is huge as a setup toward the rest of the game. Right now, he's the only one on both pairs with at least 2 in a row. Let's see what he does here. Smooth off his hand, comes back to the pocket. Nice strike on the pair. So that's outstanding for him in terms of his overall performance. Let's see if Felicia LaShore can answer the call here. She needs to throw a strike here just to. Okay, she throws a strike too. So she's not coming off of a triple, but she did throw a strike leading into the 9th frame. Okay, let's see Mr. Ellingsworth can actually do here. Throw a strike here, and he leaves. Oh, my Lord. He playing no tap again. Leaves a 7-pin. It's just the way that the ball enters into the pocket. Plain and simple. Easy roll. Let's see what he can do. And he leaves a ringing 10-pin. Uh-oh. It tapped the rolling pin, hit the 10-pin, but it didn't knock it down. So now this is not one of his strong points in bowling, but he needs to pick up this 10-pin in order to give his team a chance to win this game right here against Hills Have Eyes. Hills Have Eyes have been dominating the match. Unfortunately, they're up by almost 200 pins on this pair. And it looks like he picks it up. So that was good for Rob Smalls. Question is, can he keep up the good work? Dante Corbin throws the ball here. This looked like a strike ball. Ooh. Ooh. He threw a good ball. He threw a good ball there. And to add insult to injury, Mr. Jeff comes back and throws a strike in the 9th frame. Dante Corbin threw a great ball. He just did not get it. The ball just went too long and didn't allow the 8-pin to go down. Now he picks up the spare, but now going into the 10th frame, you want to at least set yourself up. Question is, can he finish the job? Can he finish the job? Okay, Scott comes back with 4 in a row. Let's see if Felicia LaShore can actually finish her job and let the ball get another strike. Oh, she leaves the 7-pin. She's been throwing the ball very consistent no matter what in the match. The question is, can she finish the shot? Now she has the opportunity to pick up the 7-pin, which will give her team an opportunity to win. So the match is not over, but she definitely has to do what she has to do. Felicia LaShore throws the ball. Looks good. She picks up her spare. Excellent shot there. Sometimes just remaining consistent can mean the world. Now, Felicia LaShore, if she throws 20 in the 10th frame, she'll at least get her average or strike in the first ball. She can at least get her average for the game. So she can't say that she hurt you this time. James Ellingworth actually throws a strike in the 9th frame. So this is very interesting to see how this game's going to finish. It's going to come down to the very end. Let's see what Easy Roller does. He throws the ball out. Let's see if the ball comes back. And he has a ringing 10-pin. That was a good ball. Mr. Small's been throwing a decent ball today, except for that one time where he missed the 10-pin. He's actually been rolling a solid game. Now it's the 10-pin. This is his nemesis. Let's see if he can pick that up. Looked like he should pick it up. Oh, he did throw the ball too slow. He's right on track, but sometimes you have to keep your speed up in a house where the ball hooks a lot at the end. See what Dante Corbin does. See if he can finish his game. Okay, Jeff starts off in his first ball in 10th frame. He throws a strike. So right now it looks like Hills Have Eyes, as long as they don't have any hiccups, they should win this game easily on the first team handicap. Showtime gave a valiant effort all 3 games, but sometimes when you are overmatched by a team such as Hills Have Eyes in this kind of situation, that's what happens. Mind you, they had 6 bowlers on this first team in this game. On their team out of the 9, they actually bowl here. So they kind of had an advantage, which when you want a home field advantage, that's what you need. you need to have some kind of advantage because you have in a house like this, you need to know or have an idea how this house bowls. Okay, let's see if Weapon X can go out with his last ball of the game, so he can throw a strike here. Let it rip, son. There you go. He throws a strike. Way to go. I know he's kicking himself right now. It shows the talent that he has. Once again, Showtime has a bright future going forward. They have a lot of strong, very quality, good bowlers. So they just have to be able to maintain and learn from their mistakes. Showtime has a great future as a team going forward. It's Hill. Unfortunately, right now, it's Hills at time right now. Let's see if Felicia LaShore can go out with some strikes. That'll be great for her. First ball, she throws a strike. That's the way you want to start it off. She wants to at least continue on to get her strikes. That's all she wants to do. She wants to be able to continue getting her strikes. She do that, anything can happen. All right, Scott. Oh, he leaves a ringing 10-pin after throwing 4 in a row. He threw a very good game so far. Nothing to be ashamed of. Of course, you always want to be able to throw strikes on your way out the door. But Scott could go out with a looks like 247. See if Scott picks up that 10-pin. Not that they need it at this point, but he did pick it up. He can go out with a 247. Easy roller throws a strike in the first ball for 10 frame. Right now, they're not able to win the game, but sometimes you can walk away with holding your head up high because you finished strong. It's something to build on. All right, Scott leaves a 7 count for the last game, so he goes out with a 244. At this point, James Ellingworth is just throwing the ball. He can throw for average if he wants to. But right now, you still want to keep your pin count up because at this point, the number of points that you have ensures that if for some reason Hills have eyes, and I doubt that they drop down to the 4th spot. But if Hills have eyes has a total point count where they happen to be in a wild card position, you want to have as many points as you can so you can try to get into the playoffs. They're a very strong team. They made the playoffs the last 2 to 3 years. James Ellingworth did not need to have that strike. James Ellsworth, he just wanted to get out the game. He threw a 192. I'm not unofficially. Showtime lost by more than 200 on the first team handicap. That's what did them in. Right now, we just want to say I don't know what the total pin counts are, or what the score is, but great game by Hills Have Eyes. at this point. Let's see what on the last pair. All right, let's see. Mr. Joe Robinson has an opportunity to get 5 in a row, and it's going into the 10th frame. Let's see what he does. He throws the first ball as a strike. Let's see if Colt can finish out with a strike. You just want to go out with respectability. They have an opportunity to take totals on this pair, so the match is not over for them. And Colt goes out of his strike. He is 2 strikes in a row. They're getting that pin count. Total pin count does matter, but Robinson has not thrown his second ball yet. Joe Robinson throws a double there, so now their team is up by 23 in total pin count. So Showtime Coke has to go out with a strike here. He did not have a good game, but sometimes you can give your team a chance to win in this last game. So let's see what he does. Once again, he throw the ball across his body. So he got 8 count on that last ball. Now it's up to the anchorman. Who can actually finish and who can actually get the job done? Joe Robinson throws a 9 count. So right now, unofficially on the second team handicap, without the anchorman bowling the ball, Showtime is down by 24 sticks. 1886 to 1862, 24 rather. All right, Derek Brown Jr. throws a strike in his first attempt. So right now it's all about the totals at this point. Shane Spellman can at least throw a strike so he can give his team an opportunity to finish strong. Question is, can they do so? Totals is very important when you talk about total pin count. Shane Spellman throws a strike. So now his team is up by still 24. And at this point, Shane Spellman have to throw a split. And Derek Brown Jr. They've lost the totals. Derek Brown can only get I think 20 or 30 more pins. So it's not completely out. If he can get 30 sticks, anything can happen. Let's see what happens when he throws this ball. See if he doubles up here. Definitely needs to do that in order to give a team a shot. He does a double here. So now Showtime has 92. Okay, so he only can get 30 in the frame. So it looks like here Showtime lost the total count on the 17 handicap. They were up tremendously, and Hills Have Eyes came back with the outstanding bowling of Shane Spellman the second game. He single-handedly brought his team back from totals as well as pin count. So Hills Have Eyes won the 17 handicap 8-2, whereas they could have been down. They could have won only 4 points. So that's a team effort. They all came back and won. They had that meeting in between the game. In the middle of the game, they actually held the game up because they actually were so disgusted in the way that they were bowling. And they actually came back and won 8-2 on this pair. On the first team handicap, they won 10-0. And I believe that Showtime they won the last game on the scratch pair, so they lost 8-2. We want to thank everyone for coming out or watching the match on YouTube. UBA all day.